Star Wars The Last Jedi was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and it played a part in the death of one of my favorite franchises of all time. I have fallen out of love with Star Wars like many people because of all of the bad content that's released, and when we heard that Rian Johnson was getting his own Star Wars trilogy after the disaster The Last Jedi was, almost every Star Wars fan was furious. A few months ago, though, we heard the trilogy was put on hold, but of course, Ryan is now publicly begging Disney for another chance with Star Wars. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media, and if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So, I wanted to start off with this IGN article that says The Last Jedi director really wants to make another Star Wars film. Of course he does. He got paid very well for this film from what we heard. He had a lot of opportunities to work with, bigger creatives in the industry, and he got to work with one of the most popular franchises. But unfortunately for him, he did a terrible job and got roasted for it. I mean, let's be honest, Star Wars The Last Jedi is seen as one of the worst movies ever created. But it says The Last Jedi may have its detractors, but director Rian Johnson still wants to make another Star Wars film. That's nice. I wish I owned Twitter. I mean, we all want things in life that we're never going to get. And I just don't think that Rian Johnson is going to get what he wants in this situation. Currently doing press for his upcoming detective thriller Glass Onion, the filmmaker revealed during an interview with Variety that he's still keen to return to the galaxy far, far away. Of course he is. He had major opportunities when he was creating this movie. He got to, again, form connections with a lot of higher individuals in the entertainment industry. I mean, he got to talk to Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Chapek, Bob Iger. I mean, he did get to form a lot of those relationships, but those relationships really haven't pulled through for him. It says, making Star Wars was the high point of my life, he said. I pray to God I'll be back there someday. You would think for someone who speaks so highly now of Star Wars that back then he would have respected the source material. He would have tried his very best to come up with a story that respected George Lucas's legacy and Lucasfilm in general. But he didn't. He made the worst content imaginable. It's worse than we thought that it could be, and everybody hates this movie. It says whether that opportunity will come or not is still unclear, though. Before The Last Jedi debuted in cinemas, Disney and Lucasfilm announced that he was working on his own Star Wars trilogy that would introduce new characters from a corner of the galaxy that Star Wars lore has never been explored. That basically means that they were going to say, well, you can do whatever you want because you're not attached to the Skywalker legacy, you're not attached to any of the previous movies, TV shows. It's a clear slate. But this still hasn't come to pass, however, and earlier this year, Lucasfilm confirmed that the project had been put on hold. We were all very happy to hear this news at the beginning of the year that he was no longer getting his trilogy. From what it sounded like, it at least was put on hold, but usually that means that it's never going to happen, and it sounds like he's kind of freaking out about this. I mean, he went on to publicly beg Disney for another movie or his trilogy back. I mean, talking about Star Wars was the high point of my life, and I pray to God I'll be there again someday. It says Ryan has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out in the deal that he made for Netflix with multiple movies, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed, and this was echoed by Johnson himself. I've stayed close to Kathleen and we got together often to talk about it. Well, apparently talking to her about it wasn't enough, but it's obvious why. Disney would not want to go forward with his trilogy or even another single movie just because of how bad The Last Jedi did and how poorly it was received. I mean, as you can see, of course, critics loved this film. They ate it up. It's at a 91% critic, but the audience scores is something very different. With over 100,000 ratings, it is sitting at a 42%. And honestly, I think that that's a little bit high. I truly think that it should be sitting around a 30, and I'm being generous when I say that. I absolutely hated this film. There was nothing redeeming about it, and it killed Star Wars for a lot of people. But on the IGN tweet where it says that he revealed during an interview he wanted to return to a galaxy far, far away, people are just laughing at him, saying, you are never going to get that opportunity, and yeah, he doesn't deserve it. Nope, don't like that. A room full of people just staring, unamused at him. It was a low point for the saga. Yeah, it truly was. I can't believe that a bunch of creatives got together, sat down in a room, and went, wow, this is a good idea. Let's do this. I just don't know how this was the product that we got. How the hell does a filmmaker make a mid-movie in a planned trilogy without an overall story arc? There was zero plot laid out for episode 8 or 9 from Disney, left it completely up to different directors. Disney/Kathleen Kennedy should be the ones held accountable for the garbage. I do also blame Kathleen Kennedy for the way that Star Wars is going. She completely ruined Star Wars. I mean, she had this grand idea, this big vision about how she wanted to make the Forces female. She wanted to, bring in a new era of characters. And, well, unfortunately, we got this garbage. The sequel trilogy was just terrible. And I don't know how anyone could defend this or say it was good or say it was entertaining at all. But as you can see, Rian Johnson is publicly begging Disney for another chance with Star Wars. I don't think that he's going to get it. I think that people are clearly against the idea of him getting a trilogy or even a single movie. Only time will tell. Maybe Lucasfilm will decide, you know what, we're going to give you another chance, but I cross my fingers and hope that that doesn't happen. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.